Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are out on the launch pad back at Earth today with a mostly rookie crew on their way to the moon. Now this is our first mission to get Tremonia Station back up and running, or rather retrofitted, etc. And this is an old Artemis 4L. It has a new designation, Artemis 4L4, I think. Oh boy. Yeah, total quality here. Anyway, just because we have a new adapter pod down here and not a lunar lander like the old 4L3 or 4L2, whichever it was. Anyway, new rookie-ish crew. Doug Hastings is at the flight stick today. He is accompanied by a systems scientist, Dmitry Samoyan, and very rookie engineer Mike Sinkovich is going to be doing most of our retrofitting in a few days. Anyway, our relative inclination with the moon is ideal, .25. So let's go ahead and get this flight underway. Throttle is set to full. SAS is on. I'm pretty sure I checked my staging on this DN6, but you know, who knows. Let's go. Mission sequence start. Looks like a good light on all engines. Let's get these clamps off. 1.19 off the launch pad, so, you know, okay-ish, but not great. Probably better than some of the other older DN6 series. Of course, these boosters have been upgraded to the RD-172 engine, so it is producing more thrust than earlier models, certainly than the earlier model that an Artemis 4 crew took to Mars. That was our last crewed Mars mission, was on the Artemis 4 before switching over to the Chestnut/BPR system. So this is a tried and true design, one of my favorites, and just a quality vehicle to fly, and on a relatively simple mission out to the moon to do a little repair and retrofit mission. So I'm going to go ahead and get this crew to orbit, and I will pick all of you up there. So the rest of the launch phase was fairly nominal. I mean, this is a very, very flight-proven vehicle, DN6B, obviously, and actually did fairly well with the gravity turn, although relative inclination was pretty easy to keep in check. Something that I've flown, God, I don't know, 100 times or so. Still not as good at it as I would like to be, but you know, sometimes, every now and again, I'll get a winner. Just, you know, not too terribly often. But as we're getting up here to the 30-40 kilometer range, and at this speed, we're well past max Q. Probably think about moving some staging things around. The observant among you may have noticed that the launch escape system is in with booster SEP. That should not be the case. Launch escape should be well later than booster SEP, but we'll use this couple of minutes of nice high TWR to build up some lateral speed before we have to roll it back. There's booster and LES jettison. Should not have been the same thing, but you know, oh well. These things do happen. Now operating just on the core stage in those 6 RS-25DEs as we try to manage our relative inclination for this last, I don't know, halfway push to orbit. It's, I mean, a little over the halfway mark at this point, but you know, that's the advantage of a good long-running core is you don't have to have many, many staging events to hit orbit. You just need enough TWR to get off the launch pad, which is really the only purpose for having those boosters. But a little bit of wiggle, again, trying to manage that relative inclination and our time to apogee. If we could get it somewhere in line with how much runtime we have left, or at least hold it at about a minute out or so. This vehicle is such that we will absolutely have excess delta V in the core stage and not need to rely on our B upper stage for circularization as God intended. So now that we're getting closer to our apogee and our flame out, we can start to pitch down and circularize this out just a little bit in hopes of getting a nice even circular orbit, although we all know that's not going to happen. Anyway, here's old me. Alright, 207 by 203. That's not terrible, honest to God. 1,285 left in the tanks. 41 seconds of runtime. Yeah, we're a little under our rated tonnage for this vehicle. That's fine. Let's go ahead and stage off the course. Oh, did I forget to put solar panels down here? I did. And radiators. Oh, that's interesting. 4,200 meters per second in this stage. That would have been nice to have. Man, that's an oversight. One more thing I've looked over while doing a live stream. Surprise, surprise. I am not. So I think we're going to get rid of 2 of our fairing panels here so that we can extend these solar panels and still maintain structural rigidity. I think, honestly, we're probably going to have to do an about face on our TLI and dock to this thing, because I don't know if there'll be enough left in our B upper stage here to perform a capture maneuver all on its own, and I would like to not have to do these things while zipping past the moon in low orbit. Oh, hey, look at this. And it looks like our periapsis might be our ideal place to transfer to the moon. No, it's probably not, but we're gonna try for it anyway. So I'll get this maneuver plotted out and zip on over to when we execute it. Yeah, not great, but let's see what this gets us. Focus. Oh, that is coming in on the correct side. Yeah, we'll just run with that. Oh, no! What the hell just happened? That was supposed to stage in our engine. Why did you do this? Oh, God. Well, okay then. I guess we're going to do this now. Well, that goes changing the landscape just a bit. Why are we drifting off this way? Or is that thing drifting off? Yeah. Thruster imbalance. Absolutely. Yeah, this made this mission a lot more interesting than it had absolutely any right to be. We'll just push off our translunar injection for another orbit or so to give our crew time to line up and dock. We had kind of always planned on doing a lunar orbit insertion in this configuration, even though it is untested. But doing the TLI, well, we had not tested for that. Okay, well then. Now that we're at least oriented correctly, we're going to control from this docking port. And why do those thrusters not fire anymore? That's very interesting. I don't want to activate these water purifiers just yet, because cannot deploy while stowed. Seriously? Well, that's certainly very interesting. I swear that engine was next on our staging menu. I guess it did stage in, but why did it ditch those panels? Well then. Yeah, and that's all reserve fuel. Some thrusters on this thing would not have gone unnoticed. And that's where our wrench is, and we could probably strut this thing to ensure some stability, but I think we're just gonna go for it. This is probably a very ill-advised move, but we'll be the first inverted TLI of the program. I think I could be mistaken here. It's been a while, but we're just gonna assume first TLI of the program done backwards. Well, this rookie crew making some rookie mistakes and having to do with some rookie uncomfortableness. I don't know. I guess they have to earn their brown pants certification somehow. So we'll just get ourselves gently angled in here to our new TLI burn maneuver in 28 minutes or so. Thankfully controlling from the docking port gives us a solid figure on which way we should be pointing, and then we'll just go ahead and get ourselves dialed in the rest of the way. It should be about a 10-minute burn, and there is our HG3 ignition, and now the real problems start. Well, that is very interesting. Yeah. How many ignition? Please tell me I upgraded this engine. Oh, that docking port. That poor docking port. Okay, good. I did, in fact, upgrade the engine. We're going to do that. And then hopefully it'll reset. No, not really. Okay, then. We need to make the wobbling not be a thing. And how do we make the wobbling not be a thing? Just let it settle in, turn SAS off, maybe? I don't want to undock and redock, but it looks like our engineer is going to have to go out and do some work here. Where the hell are you, Mike Sinkovich? EVA. Inventory. I should probably open up your inventory also. Oh, you already have a wrench and a thing. Excellent. Well, let's equip that to... We can get 3 struts in right away. Close, spacebar. Alright, let's get to work. Oh man, I am not used to this kind of frame rate. This is awesome. Where did it go? Doesn't do me any good if I can't see it. So we do have these KIS struts. They were intended to kind of rigidify Tremonia station so that we can make a change to its orbital path, probably getting it on a something that resembles a prograde vector. But for the mission to happen at all, we need to get there first. So we're just going to go ahead and use some of these struts now. We'll connect them to these external fuel tanks, since that crew tube is CLS compliant, and we needed to have fuel up here to use during the descent phase of the mission to make sure that we can stay pointed to retrograde for stability reasons. So we'll just make a quick stop back by, pick up 4 more struts. I had intended on doing 4 struts total, which would need 8 joints. But, well, we'll get to the rest of that later. We've got our 3rd joint attached and locked in now, even though it kind of clips through our water purifier thing a bit. I would rather not attach it to the hatch. And anywhere else, it kind of clips into the capsule, and from what I think would be a good anchor point, it's just barely out of range. So we cannot link there, trying to avoid having it clip through stuff. Even if we make it a relatively straight angle, we just can't connect that link. So we're just going to go with 3, and then we'll jump back in. We will once again replot our node. There we go. Focus in, and this time I will actually verify that we are coming in on the correct side to rendezvous with the debris of Tremonia Station. Yeah, nope. This is not the correct side. We needed to be over here, so maybe it's a good thing that first burn didn't quite work out, because things would have gone, would have been, well, just a little awkward. Oh, what the... Seriously? And... well, that was stupid. Okay, well, it looks like with just our one strut, it's holding on okay-ish. We're gonna try to go ahead and get through this TLI with minimal things. Yeah, it still thinks those panels are obstructed by nothing. And our descent fuel and emergency overlap life support has just been ejected for no reason into space. Good times. This mission's going so incredible. Yeah, this mostly rookie crew is having one hell of a time trying to achieve their mission, I suppose. But, you know, I guess this is what makes well-qualified astronauts. The ability to, I don't know, randomly attach struts to things while on orbit when the flight plan did not call for it. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, as long as we don't touch the controls too much, the bounce and sway around those two Apollo docking ports is not all that bad and tends to subside fairly quickly, is the good news. And I think we can just go ahead and push through the rest of this burn as long as we can hopefully stay oriented to the node without too much manual interference from me. The rest of this should go well to well-ish, probably. At least we're going to get to the moon. Now, the original flight plan did call for performing this about-face maneuver after the TLI burn so that we could use the HG3 stage to begin our orbital insertion at the moon. I doubt it would have had enough delta V remaining to complete the burn, and then we would have detached it, done an about face, and finished off orbital insertion on the back of our service propulsion engine, just really to kind of save fuel. That plan has now changed. After this burn is complete, we are going to be separating off the B upper stage in that HG3 engine, regardless of how much fuel is left in it, because even at this rather modest 0.80 TWR, yeah, things tend to get a little fishy. Even if we throttle back a whole bunch, things get a little weird when you have to try to make course corrections. So we're just, we're not even going to tempt fate with what will happen with as light as this thing will be as it gets to the moon. So that is our current flight plan distraction, and we'll just finish up the rest of this maneuver on the back of RCS, making sure we get along to the right side of the moon, and well, here's old me. Alright, I think we've got that touched up on RCS just about enough. We can bring that back in a little bit. We're going to be way off plane as far as our inclination adjustment maneuver, but that's not the worst thing in the world, all things considered how stupid this mission has already been. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of this B upper stage. I'm just going to see if we've got a good spot to tuck some of this fuel, since we spontaneously jettisoned some of our other tanks. How about in almost? In almost? And no, this just has nitrogen tetroxide and monomethyl hydrazine. And this has no thruster ports, and our other fuel tanks are just magic gone. So let's go ahead and, well, we'll just do it from here. Well, first things, oh, I can't get to those. I want to make sure these have some electric charge in them so that we can properly dispose of this stage. They do. Fantastic. So, decouple node. There's that. And we will reactivate our RCS and orient this to retrograde as best we can. And hopefully the spinning motion, yeah, 6 kilometers per second without any payload. So this should be able to dispose of itself in the most grandiose way possible. There is retrograde. Fantastic. Uh-oh. Alright, well, let's go ahead and light the engine since we burned off all of that thruster fuel. I'm glad there was some left. That would have been really dumb. Retrograde. And we'll just watch it kill off its periapsis into the dirt. Probably, oh, yeah, probably more than 2.5 kilometers away from our actual vessel at this point, but, you know, no worries, it's on its way. And we're just gonna let this engine run dry, because, you know, why the hell not? It's already entirely going to dispose of itself, but might as well just ride it home, right? It has caused enough problems. Well, after everything is said and done, the crew is on their way to the moon. They are safe, they have plenty of life support supplies and all the tools needed to still accomplish their mission, just with a little less fuel. So, so far, this mission is still underway, and hopefully we can complete it as such. So, as we let this be upper stage tear itself apart in the upper atmosphere of Earth, we'll have to go ahead and call this one an episode. We'll pick this one up next time with the crew getting to the moon. So that's going to do it for this one, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So, until then, see you later.